didn't take long for them to realize it was going to take longer than they thought. So in 1861, the Confederate government called for additional regiments, and they only formed 2 Confederate training camps, and both of them were in North Georgia. One of them was Camp Stevens at Griffin, Georgia, City Park today. And the other one was Camp McDonald at Marietta, which is the old Georgia Military Institute. As early as November 1861, there were plans being made. Coney Grays asked to be accepted into the Confederate Army, and the state adjutant general wrote them a letter and said, well, you will be accepted after the first of the year, probably at a training site on the Central Georgia Railroad in Effingham County. So somebody was planning for this to happen. There were 3 railroads in the state of Georgia. The Central Georgia went from Savannah to Atlanta. The Gulf and Western came from Florida to Savannah. And the Charleston and Savannah Railroad went from Savannah to Charleston. So troops could flow from the top of the state to Savannah, from Florida through the bottom of the state to Savannah, and from Savannah on up to Charleston and on. So, for some unknown reason, probably because of the railroad, our county was picked, and then in February of 1862, every county in the state was notified that they had a quota. The state was divided into 13 military districts. In that order, it said districts 1, 2, 6, and 13 will report to Camp Davis near the 30-mile mark on the Central Georgia Railroad in Effingham County. And to describe where that is, if you went above Augusta and drew a line down to Alabama and came all the way down to Florida, all the way to the coast and back up the Savannah River, 54 counties in that area were ordered to send troops to a newly formed 3rd Confederate training camp, which they call Camp Davis. And on the 4th of March, each county was to assemble probably at their courthouse. And if they didn't get enough people, they had to draft people. But our county had a quota of 40 people, and they came up with 69. So they probably made up for some of the other counties. Anyway, between the 3rd and the 12th, units from 54 counties arrived. 4,125 soldiers were organized into 4 regiments and 1 battalion, 48th Regiment, 49th, 53rd, 11th Infantry Battalion. The 11th Infantry Battalion had a unit from Effingham County, but they didn't have enough troops, so several weeks later, another unit was shifted from Randolph County to Camp Davis, which added enough troops to form a 5th Regiment, which became the 42nd Regiment. This training camp lasted approximately 2.5 to 3 months, but somebody had bigger plans for Effingham County, because at the same time that those troops finished training and left, we were starting to build a Confederate General Hospital called Guyton General Hospital, which became the largest hospital in South Georgia, 270 beds with 46 fireplaces. At the same time, we had some events happening in Savannah, Georgia. Fort Pulaski had recently been taken back the 12th of April, 1862. They had taken Hilton Head Island, South Carolina in November 1861. They took Beaufort, South Carolina, and Port Royal in December 1861. January of 1862, the Federal Army just walked on Tybee. We had just abandoned it. Started building fortifications. On the 10th of April, they started shelling Fort Pulaski, and by the 12th, Fort Pulaski surrendered. So we had the Federal Navy in the ocean, Fort Pulaski captured, Hilton Head Island captured, Beaufort, South Carolina, and Port Royal captured, and everybody thought Savannah would be the next. So they brought huge amounts of soldiers to Savannah to defend what never became what they figured would be an attack. And so we had these huge amounts of soldiers, and a lot of them got sick, but they weren't sick enough to be in hospitals. So somebody came up that we needed a convalescent camp, and they decided to put it at Springfield, Georgia. So they picked the site, which was owned by Dr. William Watson Wilson. Don't say that fast, you get tangled up. But anyway, he was a local in July of 1862. He tried to contract me there for the position, and he said, I have 107 patients at Springfield, Georgia. By August the 14th, the Savannah newspaper said there were several hundred. By a requisition of medicine dated 8 October 1862, there were 622 patients here. By November the 8th of 62, there were 505. So, 150 years ago, we had 3 events happen in Effingham County. We had the 3rd Confederate training camp from about March to about May. In May, we had the organization, establishment of the Guyton Confederate Hospital, which got bigger and bigger and lasted all the way until Sherman's army arrived on the 6th of December 1864. And we had a Confederate convalescent camp, which was located where the Effingham convict camp is today, and it lasted approximately 6 months. So anyway, we have 3 ways to celebrate instead of doing. Anybody have any questions? Turn it back over.